Hi, I'm Karen Garvey, your intuitive coach. I have another tip for you on freedom from negative thinking. Take some time to think about some of your favorite memories throughout life. Don't necessarily focus on the ones that other people tell you are supposed to be special moments, but pick the ones that for you get you really jazzed. Those highlight moments, those unexpected, feel-good opportunities that you had, those surprises, and jot them down. Keep that piece of paper on your desk or somewhere that you're looking at so that over time, over a day or two, or even a week, you have a lot of different choices of some of your favorite memories. The things where you're like, yeah, I feel joy, I feel excited, I feel happy, I feel confident, I feel so alive. That's what you're looking for, is that energy, that vibration. So keep jotting them down and give yourself time to think about it. You'll probably be able to pump out a few right away, but the idea is just let it simmer on the back shelf a little bit. Ooh, you would actually simmer on the back burner, right? So let it simmer on the back burner and keep jotting them down. Now, after you have a collection of them, take little cards, say business-sized cards, and write these memories on these cards. And you'll have a stack of them over time. And they're portable because they're small, even if you have to write on both sides. Now, wherever you go, take those cards with you. I like to call them back pocket memory cards because you could actually take a stack of them and just stick them in your back pocket. Whenever you feel like there's some kind of stimulant going on that brings you down, or you feel your emotions crashing, pull out those cards and sit there calmly and flip through those memories until one of those moments in your life feel like they're able to get you in that emotion again. The whole idea is to bring up that emotion. And what it does is it separates you from the negative stimuli. It separates you from that moment where you could actually be sinking. And it creates a break. It creates a break. And when you abruptly break a pattern of thinking, that's when you can begin to get yourself aligned with where you want to be, how you really want to feel, instead of where you might have been going habitually. Remember, your thoughts do not own you. You own your thoughts. Now, over time, as you're using these cards, you may find that an event in your past becomes stale, or you might need just something different to refresh that feeling than something that you may have been reading over and over again. And that's why we have a stack of them. You're not expected to be able to elicit that feeling of joy and enthusiasm and confidence every time you look at a particular memory. But when you have a collection of them, then you have new ideas to spark when you might need that shift in your thinking. And you never know what one will work in any given moment. And you also want to be able to have a big enough variety for different circumstances that are happening to you. For one example, you may be able to enjoy the feeling of, maybe the birth of someone or getting a particular award. But another time it might be just bringing back a memory of the first time you were in a kayak and you were listening to waterfowl and there was such a sense of peace and aloneness and serenity. So having a great variety is what's going to help you when you really need them. And this physical tool will be carried with you, so you don't have to rely on your mind to get your mind unstuck. One of the most important things to observe and remember, and you're probably going to try this out after I say it, I know you will. Like if I were to say you can't lick your elbow right now, you're going to try to lick your elbow. So I'm going to tell you something and you're probably going to try it. But you cannot sustain a positive and a negative thought simultaneously. The whole idea with freedom from negative thinking techniques is to remove the negative thought and replace it with a positive one, give you a new focus. I know you're trying it, right? You're trying it. You can toggle back and forth. You can go to here and there, negative, positive, and you can do it fast, but you cannot sustain both at the same time. So remember that. It's a good time at this minute to remind you that freedom from negative thinking techniques are useful when you've already managed circumstances. This program is not about helping you to continually feel positive. That's an unrealistic idea and an unrealistic goal. You want to process your emotions as you are experiencing them. And different events outside of you are going to create different emotional response. If you jump right into freedom from negative thinking immediately without processing what's emerging, then you are going to be stuffing that unrealized sense somewhere within you, and it's going to come out somewhere. So you want to process it before you try these techniques. And that idea helps me to introduce another really fantastic technique. This happens to be the one that worked for me more than any other technique when I decided that I was tired of being an unhappy person. And this is to recognize that your brain is trainable. Just as you have been trained to look at stimuli perhaps that is negative, you can also train your brain to respond to all of your happenings. So what I did was I put a timeline on how long I would allow myself to emote and experience the different feelings that were washing over me. It was ambitious because I was really good at wallowing or crying for 2 hours in the middle of the night while everybody was sleeping. I was good at that emoting, and I would let this carry on perhaps, who knows, a month. And sometimes the initial happening wasn't even that great, yet the mind trap was lingering on and on long past it seemed appropriate energetically for what happened. So what I decided was, it was Tuesday, 1 o'clock. Actually, it was Tuesday, 3 o'clock, because that matters. Tuesday, 3 o'clock, I decided I was going to give myself 3 days to emote. Whatever had happened that day, it was a bad phone call or something. I said 3 days. So that means I have until Friday at 3 o'clock to get this out of my system. And I did. I threw myself into it. I had a rush of emotions. I felt whatever comes up. You know, for me, maybe it was sadness or disempowerment or just a feeling of losing confidence. For you, who knows, whatever emotions might be appropriate or applicable. You don't have to judge them, but whatever emotions might be there, it could be rage, it could be jealousy, it could be a sense of depression, but anything, whatever those emotions are, they're real to you. Don't judge them. And so I allowed myself to feel and feel and feel. And since up until that point, one of my typical behaviors was to wake up for a couple hours in the middle of the night when something was bothering me. You know, I even did that. I did the overthinking. I used to write imaginary letters to people, you know, like, I don't know, revenge letters or why I'm better than you letters or anything like that. You know how this goes, right? In the middle of the night, that's on. And I was doing all that stuff. So day 2, day 3, by the time Friday came around, I have to tell you, I was sick of worrying or thinking or wallowing or feeling. And so 3 o'clock on Friday, I was like, wow, that was more than enough time. And what I found over the next day or so, I didn't have those thoughts lingering and creeping in and grabbing me anymore because I'd worked them through and I was done. There was nothing left to emote. So I said, I did that a few times, and then I changed it up and I went to one day. I gave myself 24 hours. That gave me enough time to do my self-pity or my drama thing overnight that I was accustomed to doing, but it was also, I felt, enough time. I was successful quickly after a few weeks, so I dropped that to 3 hours. That was pretty successful too. And over maybe the course of a month that I was working on this particular program of shortening the timeline, I found that my brain had been retrained to be able to process what are my real experiences in reaction to my happening, and then move on, and then move on, and then move on. I accidentally found that after time, I was able to process events within an hour. And over years, when I just stopped paying attention to this technique, I began to be a person who can process information within minutes. There's very, very, very few circumstances today that could unsettle me more than just a brief moment. You might not have to make that your goal, but you do want to make your goal to grab back your life by not spending too many days or hours or minutes or precious moments of your life wallowing in emotions that you can get in there and help enhance the redirection. I know you're starting to feel better already. Why don't you stimulate other people's ideas about happy moments, and in the comments below, list some of your happiest moments. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so.